Hello, welcome. It's episode 18 of the hit online podcast, Smooth Traffic, the smoothest automotive podcast out there. Once again, I'm with Robert King.
Hello.
And the man himself, Mr. Benjamin Pierce.
Hello.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about our trip to the Festival of Speed. We've got some electric car news. We've got a sexy new app coming out of the States. And also some very exciting news on a new Volkswagen Up. Robert, Benjamin, if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that the Volkswagen Up is a fantastic automobile.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. There's not much we agree on. This is the thing that unifies us. So, when a new Volkswagen Up is announced, or a new Volkswagen Up variation is announced, Smooth Traffic HQ goes bananas. And even more so bananas when it's got GTI after the name. So the Volkswagen Up GTI is apparently on the way. Would you like to know some exciting statistics?
At least one.
It's going to be turbocharged.
Ooh.
Yes. And it's going to have 89 brake horsepower. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Compared to what in the previous one? Or in the non-turbocharged one?
It had 69, 59.
Okay.
Something like that. So it's got a little bit more power, basically.
I was expecting a bigger number, but it's only small, isn't
Are you
it?
sure it's only 89?
It's only 89, yes. So the previous ones were 59 and 74, something like that. But this one has 89 horsepower, King. And,
Are you sure?
Yes, King, I'm sure. I have sources inside Volkswagen who tell me that they're going to make it 89 horsepower.
No, I mean, I expected more. Sorry, I'm all for the Up GTI.
Yeah.
But I just expected something in the three-figure range, really.
I'm sorry, King. The car that taught us less is more. Suddenly you want more. Maybe you'd be interested in this nice Golf GTI, sir. Or maybe if that's not enough for you, maybe the Golf R, sir. Or maybe the Golf GTI Club Sport S, sir. Or maybe you just like a fucking Bentley. How about that? Yeah?
Yes, please. Yeah, I'd love a Bentley.
Anyway.
I think we covered that in the SMMT episode.
Yeah, we did, to be fair. But yes, 89 brake horsepower. That means it will hit 62 miles per hour in a stunning 9.1 seconds. Isn't that impressive?
It is.
Isn't
Absolutely.
That
yeah.
9.1 seconds for that little beast. Yeah, let's get pumped about it. It'll also still do about 60 mpg apparently, which is again very, very exciting. And it looks quite saucy too. You know, a little bit more of a sporty style about it. And it already was quite a handsome car. And there's going to be 13 different shades of paint available. These include teal blue, coral red, Costa Azul, honey yellow, Edelweiss, blueberry, and Savannah gold. Yeah.
No chrome.
Exciting colours. No chrome, Ben. Don't be silly. Chrome's ridiculous. Honestly. Apparently there's also going to be some sort of Dr. Dre smartphone Beats electronic super duper bust your eardrums listen to rap music thing to go with it as well.
And how much does that punchy extra cost you?
Probably 800 quid, because that's what most things that have got Dr. Dre's name on cost. But yeah, there's no news on pricing or anything yet, so we don't know how much it's going to cost, but it'll be less than 20 grand. If they manage to make an Up cost more than 20 grand, only Dr. Dre will be able to buy it. So I'm going to stick my neck out and make a bold prediction like I like to do sometimes. I'm going to say it's going to be £15,400.
Ooh.
Ah.
Is that with or without the hi-fi unit?
Without, because that will be an expensive optional extra. Yeah. But no, it looks really good. I don't know if you guys have seen any pictures of it yet, but it looks very good. It would obviously get you around a Cornish village slightly quicker than the standard car. It's got funky wheels. It just looks so cool. It's like, you know, I really want one. I really want one, and I was crying out for Volkswagen to make the Up GTI for several hundred years, and now they're finally going to do it. It's about bloody time as well. I don't know what's taken them so long. It just makes perfect sense. This could be the new Mark 1 Golf GTI.
Question for you guys. For a change, I'm not going to talk about Tesla, but Faraday Future. Have you guys heard of this company at all? It's essentially a startup that is making electric cars, which sounds interesting. They've had a few they've had a concept car shown off at CES earlier this year, but nobody really knows what they're going to make in terms of cars. It's all a bit strange. I don't know if you've seen anything about them at all, but I've read in the past month or so that they've got over 800 employees in the US, and they're investing £1 billion in a factory to start building their cars, which seems absolutely mental considering they've never actually released a vehicle or even shown anyone what they look like.
It is very strange.
A bizarre move, really, especially when you've got someone like Tesla who's so good at promoting themselves and getting excitement for their cars years before they're actually launched.
Yeah.
But it just seems bizarre. I haven't heard any sort of rumblings about what they might be up to. Their website sort of suggests that they make vehicles that can be, I don't know, sort of well customised. They sort of suggest that the bits fit together nicely and you can switch out the batteries easily and scale it quite comfortably. So, I mean, are they going to make a car that you can just sort of bespoke build to how you want it? I don't know. It's very bizarre. I haven't seen anything of any value to the company yet. Obviously, somebody thinks they're going to be doing something fantastic, because why else would you invest £1 billion in a factory and have all those employees? It seems very strange.
Yeah, they should be called Faraway Future, really, shouldn't they? Because they've literally told us nothing about what they plan on doing or what they plan on making, really. There's no sort of clue as to what it's going to be and how long it's going to take and what the power output's going to be, how much space it's going to have, even what it's going to look like. It's kind of like someone like Volkswagen turning around and going, well, we've got something cool coming along the way, and you can change the colour of it when you want, and you can add a spoiler when you want. Okay, Volkswagen, so when's that going to happen then? In the future. Okay, any idea what it's going to look like or how many people it can seat? Be mysterious, just like us. It doesn't really make any sense. It's very strange, and the fact that they've got 800 people earning a living from them and $1 billion is being invested in them is even stranger, really. It's the whole thing smells fishy to me.
Or something exciting must be happening, surely. The investors must have seen something that's excited them, and apparently they've just been given a permit to test the autonomous part of this vehicle on the California roads. So yes, they're obviously doing, an autopilot type feature, like a lot of the cars are these days. But yeah, I just find that's like, for a startup, that's an exceptional amount of money being invested. But when no consumer has seen it, it's bizarre.
I think it's quite refreshing in the world that we live in that a company that have put that much money into something and have that many employees have managed to keep everything under wraps.
It's true, yeah.
However, on the flip side of that, I mean, nobody knew what was going on when during the war, when the Manhattan Project was going ahead in America. People were told that they couldn't tell anyone what was going on, and they were building the atomic bomb. So,
yeah,
maybe
so maybe not that exciting.
maybe this just needs somebody to come along and say, "Well, can you just show us exactly what you've done, guys?"
I like that you gave us a bit of a history lesson when we were talking about the future of electric cars.
Yeah, King, I'm a bit concerned that maybe Faraway Future are building a new version of an atomic bomb now. I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight.
I do what I can, John. It's a public service that I provide. Just remember, we can't look to the future without first looking to the past.
Yeah, if only your public service had suffered some cuts, King. That's all I've got to say.
So, funding hasn't been cut for a team of 30 students who have built the fastest accelerating electric car in the world. Did you hear about this a few weeks back? I can't think of the name of the actual car now, but they managed. This team of students have built a car that goes from 0 to 60 in 1.513 seconds, which is absolutely insane.
I can't imagine what going that fast must feel like, because having been in the Tesla in ludicrous mode, which does 3.2 seconds or something like that, it made me feel ill. The acceleration was so violent, my eyeballs, I felt my eyeballs shrink back into my skull, touch the inside of my brain, give me a migraine, and then come back out when we put the brakes on again. It was savage. So I can't imagine what 0 to 60 in 1.5 seconds feels like. I bet your organs just get absolutely smashed when you do that. I bet you need the loo afterwards as well.
No doubt. It's pretty impressive though, showing what the power of the electric motor can be. I mean, looking at the car, and we'll post the link on Twitter. It's only very small and very light, I'm sure, but still very impressive. I'm not quite sure what the practical application of that is, other than just showing off how good electric motors are, I suppose. But this is I suppose the future, and we'll look forward to some more fast electric cars coming out after people like Faraday Future, start selling vehicles.
Yeah, maybe Faraway Future can tell us a bit more about how quick their car's going to be, if it's not too far off in the future. Ben, that 1.5 second electric car,
yes,
would you take it for a test spin?
It would almost certainly spin, whether I intended to or not.
Would you actually do it? if someone said, "Do you know what, Ben? You want to see what it's like? We'll give you a drive on the runway in it."
Yeah, Christ, it'd be terrifying, but I think I'd have a punt.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to do it 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds first, and then work my way up. To be honest.
Yeah. Good
that just feels a
point.
bit quick.
Good point. Kingy, would you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't you? It would just be such a strange... I think it would be such a strange experience. I mean, you wouldn't even notice it, would you? That's the thing. In terms of the actual time it takes to get from 0 to 60, I don't think your brain would physically be able to notice that you've increased in speed by that much.
Probably because you've passed out.
Yeah, I can't even comprehend how you deal with it. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be worth a go. If you can do it in a Tesla in what 2 point whatever seconds, and obviously that's a road car, and you can deal with that. Why not get in whatever it's called, Grimsel, or whatever its name was, and do it in 1.5?
Well, it's for that reason, the reason that you can't comprehend going that quickly, suddenly, that's exactly the reason why I wouldn't want to do that. Because I bet 0 to 60 in 1.5 seconds just feels horrible. Like a Formula 1 car does 0 to 60 in about 1.8 or 1.9, I think. And F1 drivers are absolutely peak physical fitness, obviously. I just can't imagine doing 1.5 in a little electric box. Just imagine it. The compression, the neck pain, the eyeballs inside your head. You know, just everything. It just must be horrendous. So, no, I wouldn't do it. But if I can find a way to make Ben do it, I will.
Thanks for that. I'm more of a passenger. We know that.
Yeah. Don't we just?
Maybe there'll be room for passengers in the Faraday Future car whenever that arrives.
Actually, there'll need to be, because by the time it comes out, we'll all have grandkids.
Well, not if they're powering their cars by nuclear fission, we won't. None of us will have grandkids.
Well, chaps, there's some hot news coming out of America. As in steamy hot. Sexy hot. And that's because someone has invented an app that's a bit like this thing called Tinder. Now, my sources tell me that Tinder is an app for finding people to have intimate relationships with, i.e. bonking. Now, I wouldn't normally see how this would work with a car, but apparently what this app does, and because I'm not American, I don't fully understand what's going on here, or how Americans choose cars. Maybe it's just pure randomness, I don't know. Americans are strange. But you swipe left for a car that you like, and you swipe right for a car that you don't like. Is that right, Kingy? Yep.
Sorry.
Is that the same way that Tinder works?
I believe so, yeah. It's just left or right, isn't it? Yes or no.
Depending on if you like the car.
Yeah, I think so.
Or if you like the female or male.
I don't really understand how this will work with cars. I mean, I thought it would have been right up your street, to be honest, John, because, you know, why spend time with a woman when you could just spend time with a car?
I can see that point.
But is it for new cars, used cars, both?
I think the idea is that it helps you decide what type of car you want. So if it shows you a car, like a big SUV, and you don't like them, then you swipe left or whatever it is to say you don't fancy it, and then it slowly works out based on the sort of features of the car what you actually like. So sort of everything from sort of colour to whether you want a convertible or or an SUV or whatever else. So the idea is just a few pictures should help the app narrow down what type of car you would like to drive.
But doesn't the Tin Doctor work only on looks alone?
I think Tinder is, but this one's supposedly more complex, and that it's got some clever algorithm that helps it work out price, brand, body shape, as it were, all that sort of stuff. It's an interesting idea. It might be rubbish. It's only in America, though, isn't it? So we can't test it for now. But it's an interesting idea. I think it could work, especially for people that aren't like car people. If you're the sort of person that pops onto Auto Trader and just looks for a car that's got 4 doors and is 15 grand, then this sort of thing would work, I think.
There's people who aren't car people.
Believe it or not, yeah.
No.
No.
Ben's just kidding, John.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No, I feel a bit dizzy.
You can't
now.
scare him like that, Ben. You can't scare him like that.
No, I can't comprehend that. So let's move on. So presumably on the app, this app is called Wiper, is it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
A bit like Tinder.
Wiper.
Okay, so Wiper and Tinder work in the same way, where you have to swipe one direction, but Wiper is going to be slightly different because it's going to give you interesting facts about the car.
Yeah.
So why can't there be on Tinder interesting facts about women?
But I'm not so sure about this, because having been on the Wiper website just to have a look, it's got sort of a demonstration running on a background that has a picture of a phone on it. And literally it's just picture, make and model of car, distance from you, price. Obviously you can then presumably go in to look at details of the car, the dealership, etc. But if you're just making that initial yes or no decision, then in the same manner as Tinder, who's actually going to look at the profiles of said cars?
On Tinder, do you also arrange a viewing?
Well, I mean, I'll be interested to know whether the car has to decide whether it likes you.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kate.
Because
That's an
that's the way that
extremely good
Tinder
point.
works. If two people like each other, then they're put in contact. What if the car doesn't like you? This is a very one-sided relationship that you're forming.
You know what, King? You're onto something there. Because they always talk about the relationship between man and machine. What if this app conclusively proves there is no relationship between man and machine by never hooking anyone up with another object? This could be a crisis.
I guess we'll just have to wait for it to arrive in the UK and then give it a test.
Swipe to your heart's content.
This could change everything.
Smooth Traffic have been to Goodwood Festival of Speed 2016.
Our first Goodwood.
As an entity, it's our first Goodwood, but we've all been before. It didn't fail to live up to expectations, although it was extremely wet and muddy on the Thursday, which was quite disappointing.
Yeah, it was.
John ruined a perfectly good new pair of shoes.
I spent £10 in Sainsbury's on this lovely pair of shoes, right, with some rope trimmed around the edge. They were really, really stylish, and I was really happy with them. And then I go to Goodwood, and what happens? I write them off in the first 10 minutes.
Luckily, John didn't write off any cars, though,
Yeah,
because he did get a ride up the hill
Yes, I did.
in the new Ford Fiesta ST200.
Yeah, the ST200 was great. Obviously, a quick run up the hill isn't a long time to get a feel for a car, but it's a nice little taster. It probably takes about 80 seconds to get up the hill in something like that, and the 80 seconds I had with the Fiesta ST200 were very good. It's really responsive. The engine's fantastic. The extra power is definitely welcome because, let's face it, who doesn't want more power? It's very, very nimble. The brakes are good. The gear change feels good. It's I'm not sort of sure because I haven't read the press release for this car yet because I wasn't actually on the launch. I just turned up and said, "Can I have a go?" But I think the car has some sort of rev match technology in it because I definitely wasn't heel and towing because I'm definitely not that good a driver. So I think there might be some sort of rev matching technology in it, which just aids downshift a little bit. Obviously, going up the hill on the Thursday, they've put the chicane in the middle of the straight to stop people going too fast. And there was a load of mud strewn across Malcolm Corner on the left-hander as well, so we couldn't actually take a couple of the corners at high speed. We didn't really get to stretch the legs of the car much, but the brief taste that I had of that car, the impression was really, really good. It made me want to keep driving it more and more and more and more, and that's a very, very good sign in a car, I think. So hopefully I'll get a little bit more time in the ST200 soon and get to talk about what it's really like.
I didn't like the paint job they made of it. That's a bit of a daft thing to say, but it was horrible.
It is a weird one, isn't it? It is a weird one. For a limited edition car, I thought they might have chosen something a little bit more special, a bit more pearly or metallic-y maybe, but the sort of off-white is a strange colour, I must say. Yeah, I'm not its biggest fan either. I quite like sort of unusual greys and whites and stuff like that, but
It just looked grubby.
yeah, I'm not convinced it works on that car. And also, that's the price of the thing as well. It's a few £100 short of £23,000, which is a hell of a lot of money for a Ford Fiesta, whatever way you look at it. So that'll be a stumbling block as well. But Ford have sold all of them. It's a limited production run car. Apparently, there's only going to be 400 made.
Really?
I think they've already taken 1,000 orders for it, and they've increased the limited figure a bit. I don't remember getting a definite figure off Ford, but it's outweighed demand. It's outweighed the initial numbers anyway. So they're obviously doing very well. But I don't think Ford can make a bad performance car at the moment. The Focus ST and RS, brilliant. The Mustang is brilliant. The original Fiesta ST was very, very good. And this car again feels really good too. So Ford are on an absolute roll when it comes to performance cars at the moment. I just think they need to bring back the Capri now.
Maybe. Maybe next year, John.
Fingers crossed.
Well, it wasn't just Jonny going up the hill that was the excitement for us at the Festival of Speed. Obviously, lots to see, lots to do, lots to hear. And on that note, the dynamic debut of the Abarth 124 Spider. Now, if you pop onto our YouTube channel, there's a little clip on there that we've recorded the lovely sounding exhaust note that absolute beauty produces. But what a stunning vehicle it is, and just an incredible sound coming out of the back of that. We're all very, very hopeful that it does well, considering it's a much better production than that Fiat monstrosity.
Looks much, much cooler than the standard Fiat 124 Spider. Abarth have added some really nice touches on it. Almost all of them are saucy, and sauce is something I can get behind every day of the week. And the exhaust note is fruity. It's fruity. It's well worth a listen. So yeah, pop onto our YouTube channel. I don't want to spoil it for you. Just go onto our YouTube channel and listen to it. All right?
So what better recommendation can you have than that? Jonny told you to go to YouTube, so get onto YouTube.
Yeah.
Moving on from the Abarth, let's talk about Tesla. I've got good news.
Oh yeah. Okay.
If you want to buy a Tesla,
Yeah.
if you opt to have the home charging point,
Yeah.
that will cost you £400.
Good value.
That's a bargain.
£400 for the charging point so that you can charge your Tesla at home. Amazing value. Pop your Tesla in the garage at night. A full charge from the point will take 8 to 10 hours, I believe they said. So, overnight charge, you're probably not going to be doing the full range in a day anyway. Surely worth the £400 extra to get that installed at home. Particularly if you don't live near a supercharger.
Yeah, that's got to be a must-have, isn't it, Ben? I mean, you'd tick that box, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to, I think.
In comparison, BMW...
Well, they've got quite a fancy-looking charger, haven't they? It seems a bit over-engineered.
Yes, they provide a wall charger which has a touch screen with lots of fancy stuff going on. The Tesla charger is just a box which you just plug in. There's no fancy Dan malarkey going on, which may be surprising for Tesla. But yeah, the BMW box, I couldn't find anyone at Goodwood who could tell me how much it was, mainly because we went to the BMW stand quite late in the day and there was no one left. So, a bit of internet research has led me to find that it's just under $1,100. So, probably around about £800, something like that. Which, twice the price of the Tesla box. And, I mean, the i8's a hybrid anyway, so it's not full electric.
King, there's been some news.
Some news?
There's been a vote. $1,100 is now about £11,000. Rip off.
Well, even more reason to buy the Tesla box.
Exactly.
And buy a Tesla. Because, well, as I say, the i8's a hybrid. A lot of people seem to get confused by this. They think that the i8 is a fully electric vehicle. And I think it's safe to say that we're all big fans of the i8. But I think if you're going to go with an electric vehicle, buy a Tesla.
I mean, once you start, the saving of having an electric car is all good, but once you start adding in a best part of £1,000 for a charging point, you kind of, you're outweighing the benefits a little bit, aren't you? And also, if you move house, you're going to feel pretty pissed off that you spent £1,100 on a charging point if you have to get a new one. Unless of course, you can rip them off the wall, but I imagine the installation, have to imagine there's a decent bit of wiring that goes into it, so you can't just unscrew it and remove it. So
yeah, it seems like there's a bit of a typical BMW problem here, which is charging more money because it's a BMW product.
Yeah.
And I mean, Audi are guilty of the same thing. Mercedes are equally as guilty. Those sorts of manufacturers are guilty of that same sin. The Tesla charging point just sounds perfect for what you need it to do, which is just charge the bloody car.
Yeah, you don't need a digital display on it. I don't understand the point of that. What's that telling you? I don't get it.
All of that adds costs, and it makes it look cool, which means BMW can justify charging you more money for it, which makes them a lot richer. So it doesn't really... I mean, I'm a big fan of BMW's iCars. I really like the i3. It's really, really good fun to drive, deceptively fast. The i8, again, is an extremely exciting car and a lot of fun to drive, but that's something different to a Tesla altogether in that it's a car for showing off. It's a supercar, but it's a supercar with a conscience, so you can drive around and show off and go, yeah, this is really fast, this look at the doors, isn't this funky, look at this futuristic styling, whoa, look at me, I'm from Tron. But the Tesla is a car for a family or a couple, or maybe just an old person with a dog. The Tesla is a car for anyone, whereas the i8 is for people who've got a bit of an ego, want to show off, and want to go a bit fast as well, even though it isn't as fast as a Tesla, but it looks fucking fast.
So you'd have the i8 then, John?
I would have the i8, yes.
Moving on. Also at Goodwood was the Tesla Model X, famed for its smooth traffic Model X files. Ben, what did you think?
Yeah, I think it's quite smart. It's very similar, I suppose, in the styling to the Model S, really, in the way that they build it. I don't know. I think the doors were quite handy. At the back, obviously, great for loading kids. But again, it's not. It is purely for the practicality of having like kids in the back, isn't it? So, yeah, I think it's really nice. Yeah, we didn't see much of it in action, did we, with the Falcon Wing doors? I really wanted to give it a test, putting some objects in the way of the door and seeing if it stopped itself properly. But hey, we'll have to do a proper test one day. Generally, I'm impressed. It seemed to get a huge crowd, didn't it? Tesla had a much bigger stand this year than previously, and it was absolutely rammed for the whole day. The whole day I was there.
There was a lot of buzz around Tesla, but deservedly so.
Yeah.
Moving on from the excitement around Tesla, something else that excited us was the new Bentley Continental GT Speed Black Edition, which has further enabled me to continue my newfound adoration of Bentley. We saw the Bentayga as well. That was, well, it was there. But yeah, this new Black Edition, GT Speed Black Edition, it looks tremendous.
It was stunning, wasn't it?
Saucy trim, 18-inch brake discs. Yes, brake discs, not wheels. Brake discs. Oh. Anyway, I could just drown looking at a picture of it. Yeah, truly stunning. We'll pop a picture up on our Twitter feed just so you can see that, and on our Instagram if you happen to follow us via that medium as well. But it was just a stunning vehicle, wasn't it, John?
Unbelievable. And you know, when we went out and drove the V8 convertible SMMT, we were both really, really impressed with it. Build quality out of this world, refinement, luxury, noise from the engine, exhaust note. It was everything you could ask for, as well as being incredibly welcoming and easy to drive as well. But this new car, the Black Edition that was on display at Goodwood, was just it was just sexy. It was like, it's very hard to describe. How am I going to describe this, lads? It was like the original convertible was Natalie Dormer, but this is Natalie Dormer in the right dress. You know what I'm saying? It improved the overall package no end just by being a bit sexier and a bit more, well fitted. It just looks the absolute business, and I'm so jealous of the people who are going to get to buy one, because it is stunning. And the colour scheme that they had it in at Goodwood, well, with that super dark green, almost a black, with the yellow contrast stitching, just unbelievable. And everywhere you look on a Bentley, it's just pristine, and it's something that needs to be loved and cherished, and I hope that whoever's buying it does exactly that.
Just a few more other bits to pick up on from the day at Goodwood. Alfa gave their UK launch of the Giulia, which in classic Alfa style, they brought along the European spec version of the Giulia, because they still don't have the full details of the UK spec yet. Looking forward to seeing what the actual details are when that comes out. Apparently that will be out within the next week, so I would say give it a month, and then we might have an idea of what's actually going to be available to us in the UK.
Exactly. Rumours
abound that we will be getting a petrol engine as well as a diesel.
Hooray.
Yeah, it just has to happen, King. If Alfa launch a car in the UK that has no petrol engine, they're ignoring the wishes of their hardcore fan base, of which you are a member, and as such can't see the fault with Alfa Romeo a lot of the time. And that's exactly who Alfa Romeo need to keep in the game, because they're the only people that have kept the brand alive over the last 10 years. Because from an Alfa buyer's perspective, there has been near enough nothing to smile about in the last decade. Nothing. So, the Giulia is just so incredibly important, and I was not impressed with Alfa Romeo at Goodwood. I wasn't impressed. They bring along a car with the European spec with the gearbox we're not going to have, because apparently Alfa can't do a manual for our market. bullshit. They can, they just can't be asked. And they also don't have information for people either. They haven't got the information to tell people how much is it going to cost. Oh, we don't know yet. Is there going to be a petrol engine? Yes, we think so. Okay, but we're not getting the manual, are we? No, I don't think so. On top of all that, King, on top of all of that, they don't even have the decency to give you and me an espresso. Poor.
True.
Poor. It's typical Alfa looking down on everyone again. It's like, oh, we're Alfa Romeo. We make beautiful cars, so we can kind of do what we want. It was a poor show, and I think
I disagree. I disagree on that. I don't think it's a case that they were looking down on us, John. They may have been looking down on you, but certainly not. The other owners. It was impossible to get in and get a coffee with them, which you would expect would be the best coffee at the entire festival because it's Italian. But we'll never know because unfortunately we couldn't get in because they kept having VIPs in their owner's lounge every time we went to try and get a coffee.
What that really means is you're not really the type of person we want to be seen with our brand. That's what that really was. There was something about Alfa that was there was a front up at the festival. There was a front, and I don't know what was going on, but there was something that did not feel right at the Alfa stand, and I don't know. I think they've got problems. I just wasn't impressed with them at all, and I think the relaunching of the Mito and the Giulietta with this new Veloce tag for their top spec models, basically saying that if you've bought a Cloverleaf Mito or Giulietta in the last few years, actually they're not proper Cloverleafs. They're a bit shit. So actually we've had to take away the Cloverleaf and call them Veloce now because we're starting to learn that these cars are a bit shit. And actually we can't stick the Cloverleaf on these because it's a bit of an embarrassment to our brand. By the way, here's our new Cloverleaf that is a proper performance car, apparently. So I don't know, I just wasn't impressed with Alfa. It's turning into a bit of a rant now, but I just think there was something that was just really not cool about Alfa at the Festival of Speed.
I do think that Alfa are very much relying on the Giulia now to go forwards with anything. It's almost like the entire brand is relying on how the Giulia performs, whether it succeeds or fails. The Cloverleaf, we do have a price for the Cloverleaf, which is £59,000 starting price.
Good price.
So you would expect that the standard model, as it were, would come in, somewhere between sort of 30 and 50, depending on trim levels, etc. I mean, to be honest, 59,000, that seems very reasonable, even if it's just the base Cloverleaf.
Yeah, considering the performance on offer per pound.
Precisely.
I think that's a good price, and I believe it undercuts some rivals as well. I think it's cheaper than an M4. I know I've seen M4s for more than that, so I think it's cheaper than an M4, and that's a good thing, obviously, for Alfa Romeo because it's much more beautiful than an M4. So if it drives nearly as well, then they've got a hit on their hands.
Another thing that caught our eye was the Revo stand. Revo, would you say?
Yeah, Revo. Let's say Revo.
Revo. Yeah, let's go with Revo. They had a stunning Mustang, which they have been working on. Revo are a tuning company. Yeah, they've taken the Ford Mustang. They'd done some work under the bonnet initially. Not a lot. It was just their stage one. I think it was air filter or something similar. With the EcoBoost engine, I might add, not the V8.
Yeah.
They've wrapped it in a rather lovely red with some very subtle trim marks, just sort of showing the Revo brand rather than Mustang in that sort of similar along the footplate location on the sides of the vehicle. Lovely looking vehicle. And we had a chat with one of the guys there, and they just seemed like a really great down to earth small company that are all about their customers.
Yeah.
The guy that we spoke to said that the original Mustang is a bit of a handful, and they've been working on various things to get their own Mustang to be a driver's car. And one of the things that they found is when they were sort of playing around with the settings in the ECU, they could turn it up to some ridiculous amount of horsepower, but they found that by scaling it back slightly, they could actually produce better performance and a more well-rounded car. So, they're very much a thinking man's tuning company, if one can say that.
Yeah, there is such a thing, it seems.
Clearly, And yeah, they were very passionate when we spoke to them about sort of what they were doing. Obviously, they do a lot of work with Volkswagens, Audis, Skoda as well, I think it was. But yeah, very, very interesting sort of time chatting to them. And
Yeah.
if anyone's interested in any kind of performance modifications for a car, then I would seriously recommend contacting them, because they seem to have their heads screwed on right.
Yeah, very, very approachable guys. The Mustang looks great so far. The original Mustang is a bit of a handful. I don't think it was a terribly poor handling car. I think it was a decent handling car. It's very comfortable. Probably a bit more of a cruiser than a sports car. I don't think anyone would argue that it was an out-and-out sports car. Certainly not in the same vein as something like a Porsche Boxster or a Cayman. And yeah, they seem to be doing the right things when they talk about the development of their Revo Mustang, and it looks really good. The modifications they've done to it are very subtle. They're ever so friendly and approachable. So I totally agree with you, King. If you're thinking about having one of the cars they focused on modified, give them a call, because they just do seem like normal guys who are very passionate about their cars and want to develop their projects in the best way possible. And I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you. They've also got some very talented guys on their team, it seems. So yeah, the future looks good for them. I think they'll do all right. I mean, Ben even liked the Mustang. And Ben is normally sort of quite, into his subtle cars. I like a Golf. I like a large saloon.
There's something about the Mustang, though, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. There is something about the Mustang. You're right, Ben. It's romantic. It's a romantic car, and I think it's got the ability to sort of capture anyone's heart, really.
I'd have.
Ooh,
possibly.
So, if you were watching our Twitter feed whilst we were attending the Goodwood Festival of Speed 2016, you'll have noticed that we ran a little competition to give away a couple of Alfa Romeo Festival of Speed survival kits. Sadly, no espresso in this one either. We've used an app thing called Tweet Draw to decide the winners of our little competition. So, at J_Smith_Esquire, you've won an Alfa Romeo Festival of Speed survival kit. And also at Sam Harrison 7568, you've also won a Festival of Speed survival kit. So get in touch, drop us a DM with your address, and we will get those little tins of loveliness out to you. And thank you for entering. Well, we're wrapping it up once again. That's another episode of Smooth Traffic done and dusted. King's got plenty of editing to do, so let's get him started on it. Coming up this weekend actually, we're going to be in London for the Formula E E-Prix? E-Prix. We're going to be at the E-Prix anyway in London. Battersea Park. We're going to be checking out some Formula E cars whizzing around the city streets there for the last time, sadly. We're very much looking forward to that. So if you see us out there, tweet us at Smooth Traffic, because we'd love to talk. Until next time, thank you ever so much for listening. And don't forget to tweet us at Smooth Traffic. Check out the website, www.smoothtraffic.co.uk. Until then, we'll catch you on the next episode.